Good evening, folks. I'm going to call the meeting here to order at 1 Academy Street on February 16th, 7 p.m., 7:08. I just want to make a quick announcement before we get started. If anybody wants to speak tonight, can you please put your hand up and identify yourself before you speak? And we'll give everybody a chance to speak. First item on the agenda is pledge of allegiance. Please join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I didn't ask, but can they hear us okay on there? This isn't working, right?
Correct. Chris Sweeney, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Agenda review.
Well, I was gonna move it up. Thank you.
Just personnel and executive session. That's all I have to add. Mark?
Nope.
Elizabeth?
I'm good, thank you.
Nicole?
I'm great, thank you.
David?
Yeah, under highway, I wanted to add a request to refile the two BB Road grant applications that I did last year. They had no money last year. This year they have money and they can use what we already did last year. So.
Okay. Anything else? David?
Oh,
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. Ed, anything?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Heather?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Your motion to approve the February 2nd?
Student Jim.
Yeah.
We should also have real estate under executive session. I think I have it. on there.
It's already on there.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good.
Okay. Here, motion to approve February 2nd regular select board meeting by Zoom.
I make a motion, James, that we approve the
Minutes, sorry.
minutes of the
Yep.
February 2nd SLB regular Zoom meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No, then you roll call.
Hi.
Ed?
Aye.
James, aye. Mark?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay. Public comment. Anybody have anything to discuss that's not on the agenda? And I just will say the forestry property is on the agenda. Okay, I'll give it anybody in the public comment a couple minutes to speak.
So it's Stephanie.
Stephanie has her hand up.
All right.
Hi, I was just coming in to discuss my concerns with the stop sign at Jonigan Drive and the lack of people actually stopping at that sign. There was a close call on July 16th of last year, and where a guy actually verbally assaulted me afterwards because he pulled out in front of me and then stopped his car to harass me. But this has been going on. I have video of it, and I just feel like there needs to be more police presence during commuter times.
Okay, did you contact the police department when you had that issue?
Yeah, I did. They said they would talk to the guy about it. It was the state police. But I don't know if anything was done.
Hey Stephanie, this is Mark.
Hi, Mark.
This is the police commissioner. I did talk to Chief Stell. And because I did see the video.
Yeah,
One second.
No, keep going.
Okay. I did talk to Chief Stell. I did see the video. Is there more of a particular time frame that it's happening than others?
usually at lunch, they leave at noon for lunch from the businesses that are down there in the industrial park. And then again at 4:30, it's been bad. I think it sometimes happens around 4 too, but whenever the businesses get done their first shift.
Okay, thank you. And
Yep.
I'll have another conversation again. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
I just want to add that our police coverage is from, you may already know that, with the town is only it's from 4 o'clock to 1 in the morning, right? Five to 1 is what we contract with, so, but we certainly try to get them to do something outside of those hours for you.
Okay, thank you.
But there is grant funding for aggressive driving, right? So he can do it outside of those hours.
I don't know that, Heather. I know they have had some highway money in the past, and we'd have to ask that question to the chief. Okay. Thank you, Stephanie.
Before you go on.
Yep.
JR, we're good. Thank you. You don't have to, if you haven't, sorry. But anyway.
Yeah.
Betsy's got her hand up.
Hi, Betsy Fournier. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Swanton Enhancement Project. I had sent David Juskavich a request for the Swanton Enhancement Project to use the VHB scoping study logos for Swanton Enhancement. We'd like to use them for some thank you cards and also for other documents that we send out. The village is fine with us utilizing those. They're owned by the town and the village, so it's totally up to the town and the village if the Swanton Enhancement Project can utilize them. They're absolutely gorgeous logos, and maybe it's something that we could all utilize moving forward, but we would love to have the opportunity to use those with the SEP.
Oh, sorry.
I can share those with you again if that was, that's something that you requested, but I didn't see it on the agenda, so I just wanted to kind of throw it out there as public comment.
Thank you, Betsy. David wants to say
Just a
something.
quick comment, Betsy. I'm checking with VHB to find out who designed that. Whoever designed it owns the copyright to it, and they would have to give written permission to whoever else wants to use it. I don't know if VHB, one of the folks down there designed it, or if they just took it off form that is out there on the internet and, from someone else. So when I find that out, then I could get a better.
But I think you had that in our email.
So David, I already had that conversation with Drew, and all that information was in the document that I sent you. He gave us all the rights to it. So, but I can resend that to you, and then you can share it with the select board and we can revisit it next meeting.
You got the email, Betsy.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to him myself. and
Okay, sounds good.
How it originated. Okay?
Yep.
And talking to him tomorrow about our upcoming Zoom meetings for the team that's working on that project.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
thank you, David.
Yeah, it's in the way.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Nope.
Go towards Nicole.
Anything else? Anybody else for public comment? Think we're good? All right.
Hold on.
Vaughn?
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
There's page 2. Anybody? Nope.
Oh.
Okay, there's 2 pages.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Law enforcement, monthly animal control report. We only have one thing. Jim on there, so. I think-
Yeah.
How you doing, Jim?
Fine, thanks. How are you guys?
Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
No, no problem. Nice and slow this month so far. On the 14th, I had a dog complaint for a barking dog over at 8 Hodgson Drive. I went over and spoke to Ann Spezio. She's the owner of 3 licensed dogs. One of them's only almost 3 years old, and that's the barker. I gave her a verbal warning, and that's it.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anyone else, anything, Jim?
No, thank you.
Doing a great job. Thank you.
Thanks.
Retail business, public hearing for proposed zoning by law amendments. Amy?
You also have Andy. Andy is here as well.
Yep,
She's up
I
next.
see Amy there, she's unmuted now.
Oh, there's Andy.
There we go, now we see everybody.
Andy, I'm gonna let you unmute.
Can you hear us, Amy?
And
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Andy's there too, okay, welcome. I'm gonna find that in my packet.
No, I emailed it. It was just one item.
The zoning bylaws?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still thinking of Jim.
No, we're on zoning bylaws now.
I understand.
Go ahead, Amy.
Don't you have to open a public hearing?
Who is he?
You have to make a motion to open.
Yes, no?
when you need to go into public hearing.
Oh, okay.
We're getting there, Amy.
Hang on, I gotta find my paper and then we'll go.
Okay.
That's how you get that.
Yeah. Right here. Okay, so we need to make a motion to go on a public hearing?
Technically, you could, Madam Chair, you could just announce that you're going into the public.
All right. We're going into a public hearing on, what's January 16th at 7:20 here at the town office, February.
That date right there. Or no.
Yeah, well, that's what I was reading the date. I'm like, what is today's date? Okay,
Oh, sorry.
so go ahead, Amy.
So do you have the paperwork in front of you, all of you?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, so the first change is the proposed change is the R1 district to change the front setback from 75 feet to 50 feet. We've been issuing a lot of variances and it's something we thought we should do. We'd like to add a conditional use outdoor venue to the that's the R1 district. And the definition for the outdoor venue is on the last page. So we would like to add a conditional use contractor's yard to R3, and we'd also like to add the retail use of an existing commercial structure to the R3, because we have several commercial businesses along the Route 7 area that already exist, but there's no businesses in those buildings at the moment.
Amy, can I ask you a quick question before you keep going?
Yes.
Boundaries is the R1 district? Roughly, I wish I had a map of it. We don't.
So it goes, it's out around the Southern Grove District. It's up off of Woods Hill,
Okay,
down on County Road.
okay,
We have a lot of houses that were built, it's BB Road as well. We have a lot of houses that were built very close to the road, or
Yep.
they don't even meet setback at this point.
Yep.
So anytime anybody goes to do anything, add a porch, garage, they need to come before the board to get a variance because they don't meet setback in order to line it up with the house or make it look aesthetically pleasing. Does that answer your question?
it does, yep.
Okay,
No, that's fine, I just wanted to know, I thought that was the area we were discussing, but I want to make sure.
okay, so all of the next professional, personal, all the way down through section 2.4.6, 7, 8, and 9, and 12, those already exist in those zoning districts. We just needed to change the verbiage because it didn't match up. Some of them said business, some of them did not. So we're just changing them so they're all the same. We would like to add a conditional use to the Southern Grove District for a storage facility. And then there's a proposed change. The conditional use, we're just taking out the word units to make it, again, line up with all the other districts that have that. So the verbiage is all the same. And then under site plan review, the proposed change is just the copies of the paper copies of the maps we get for the DRB meetings. I think at one point there must have been a 3-person board. And we're now a 5-person board. That's the only reason I can think of why. We just changed the number of copies.
Yep.
Same thing for section 6.3 site plan. Changed the number of copies. Same thing for plat recording requirements, just change the number of copies that we need for meetings.
Okay.
Then we added the outdoor venue definition on the last page. We're changing the temporary structure so that any temporary structure to remain on the same lot for over 120 consecutive days or is moved on the same lot shall require a building permit as well as any other applicable permits, variances, what have you. And then we changed the definition of the storage container as well. Any storage container that is moved on the same lot shall require the permit. So that if people are moving things around their property, they can't just do that. They've got to get a permit if they're moving it.
Okay. So you're saying the storage container, it's, once they get the permit, that's where it has to stay. If they're gonna move it to a different spot on a lot, they have to have another permit?
Yeah, because it's got to meet setbacks, no matter what you're putting, building, placing, it's got to meet setbacks.
Okay. I have one question.
Yes.
Back in the beginning, changing the to a contractor yards, is there a description for that and regulation of what is considered a contractor's yard?
Yes, would you like me to read it?
Well, you don't have to read it all. I mean, does it say in there how many pieces of equipment you're allowed and things like that, or is there any kind of regulation in that?
Hold on. A parcel of land with or without buildings thereon to be used for the storage of equipment, materials, and or vehicles used in the operation of construction and related trades.
Okay. So there's no, if you've got a contractor's yard and the guy's got 30 dump trucks, I mean, is that part of the DRB when they come to that point that we decide that?
That would be part of, yeah, if it's a conditional use.
I just wonder if there's any limitation to how vague we get when we say contractor yard.
Well, I just read you the definition. That's pretty vague.
Yeah, well, the only concern I have is,
Okay.
I don't know.
So that's something we can discuss, maybe changing the definition.
Yeah, I don't know if you should add something. I mean, it's probably not a problem. I mean, I think of a contractor's yard as somebody having a few things, but somebody could technically have a business at their home under this contractor yard and have 35 pieces of equipment. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do know what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. It could come up and, I mean, should there be a limitation on it or not? You know, I don't know.
So I'll put that on the agenda for our next planning commission meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can discuss that definition.
Yeah, I don't,
And if we want to add something to the definition, James.
I don't want to hold up your work that you've done on this, certainly, but maybe we should add something to that definition. Just some verbiage clarifying.
Okay.
The size of the business that would be considered, you know?
Okay.
I just think of different yards we have around town and pieces of equipment and, you know, if we leave it vague, with no description, then it's open to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can think of something to come up
Yep.
with. But
If you want them to change anything, then they don't have to go back to them. And then they just, open hearings and then they start that.
yeah,
Are you comfortable approving it with the definition that it has and then the next go round?
that's what I was gonna say. I just, in the future, we should, no, I don't have a problem approving it the way it is, but I think we should probably add something in the future to the definition.
We will be coming back next month at the planning commission meeting. We are making more changes, so
Okay,
we'll be back and I'll put that on the list.
yep, exactly. Okay,
Okay.
all right. Joel, on it. Does anybody else want, got anything to say?
Joel, you got
I
your
see
hand
Joel,
up,
you get your hand
or-
up, Joel? Can't hear him, though.
Yeah, now I unmuted.
Hear us,
Real
Joel?
quick, Amy,
We can't hear you.
contractor yard, that's a conditional use?
Go ahead.
Yes,
So that has to go before the DRB and they take a look at what someone's trying to do for a contractor yard and set limits.
yes,
Hours, possibly the number of vehicles, that sort of thing.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was asking, Joel. I wasn't sure, and that's what I wanted to make sure.
yes,
Yeah, so that gets done as part of the conditional use review. The planning may still want to put other restrictions on it, but I think conditional use is where the DRB can certainly look at it and say 10 vehicles, and if someone goes
Okay.
more than that, then they have to go back
If that's the way it's done, then I'm fine with it.
to the DRB. I just wanted to throw that out there.
okay, thank you, Joel.
Okay, anybody, anything else on the proposed changes? So we need to just vote to change the change.
Chair, you would send no public comment for coming out of public hearing.
Yeah.
Someone to take action.
Okay. Is there any more public comment on the proposed changes? Okay, then we're gonna come out of the public hearing, back into our regular meeting at 7:30. And someone wanna make a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the proposed changes for the zoning.
I'll
For
second that.
February 16th.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Heather second it. All in favor? Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
James, aye. Mark?
Aye.
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 Nicole, aye. Ayes have it.
Yes, become effective 21 days from now.
It'll become effective 21 days from today? Okay, from tomorrow. Okay. Anything else? I guess Amy's good.
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, thank you guys for your work. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Discuss sign town village hazard mitigation plan.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
something the town and village do and approve. It sets up the procedures for how to deal with hazards that occur in either the town or the village. It came through last year, but because of COVID, it got kind of lost in the works. Sean Coleman is the one who prepares the plan for the town and the village. The village has their what you call emergency plan there, and this would be part of it. And so what he needs in order to get to FEMA is approval by both boards, the village and the select board. So that's why it's here tonight. And I think there's signature lines on it. Yeah. I could take it up here if you need it. So it's just another plan to prepare for unexpected incidences.
Okay, so what, we need to approve this, David?
Yeah, you
Sign
just
it?
need a motion to
Okay.
approve it. And then once the board signs it, I'll scan it and send it to Reggie. And then he'll have, when his board approves it, they'll sign
Yep.
off. And then they'll send it down to Sean at the regional planning to pass on to the upper levels of power.
Did everybody look through this, the email?
Yeah, there's still some things that need to be updated, but we can do that.
Yeah, I think you
Afterwards.
guys- sorry, I think you guys saw my email.
Yeah.
Reg questioning
Yeah.
the update of some of these businesses that are no longer here.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Something happened.
probably a month or two ago, I emailed him some names that needed to be updated. And, but that Sean's in a hurry to get this
Yep.
done so we can accomplish that afterwards and then we adopt the updated one.
Okay, so we need to vote on that. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the hazardous mitigation plan for 2020.
I will second that.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Hi.
Ed?
Aye.
Aye. James, aye.
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Discuss and approve CAI contract for mapping services. Didn't we just do that the last meeting?
No.
Yeah? I thought we did.
You skipped one though.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll go back to that, sorry. But didn't we approve that at the last meeting?
I looked at the minutes. I couldn't see anything in
Yeah,
there.
I knew it wasn't crazy because we were talking all of that.
Yeah, I had a thought that we did, but when I checked the minutes, there was nothing in there
I
that
know
there
we
was a
approved
motion
it.
made.
Actually, we can get it right here. Oh, no,
Yeah.
yeah, I took them out.
Item 5B.
LCIA contract. Mr. White made a motion, seconded by Ms. Draper.
Okay, that was my fault. I missed that.
Signed contract. Okay.
Okay, we're all set then. Yeah. it's
Yeah.
right there.
Okay.
All approved. I skipped over one. Discuss and approve hazardous waste collection day, 17.
Yeah, I have to send them a sheet that confirms that we own the property where they're going to be holding the hazardous
Yep.
waste day this year. And,
Okay.
but I want to run it before the
Yeah.
board
Sounds good
to make sure you want it this year.
Mhm.
And
We pay for
if
it.
if you want to make a motion to approve that, then I'll
Okay.
send it to them. And
Yeah.
they need this in order to get a permit.
We
from
don't tell them the date anyways, they tell us.
Right, yeah.
They have, so.
Yeah,
I'll
and then-
entertain a motion to approve that hazardous waste day. collection.
And have me send him
And
a
have
letter.
David send in the letter.
I'll make a motion that we approve the hazardous waste collection day.
Okay, get a second?
I'll second it. Heather.
And just to clarify that, they need this in order to get their permit from the state to hold it, so.
Yep. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
James, aye. Mark, aye. Nicole?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, Old Town Business, discuss Fourth Street property sale. The board is gonna speak first. I just want to make a public statement. In 2013, that most of you probably already heard this, but I'm gonna say it again. The voters approved building a new town garage for $800,000 approximate cost. And in that agreement, in that vote, was part of selling the property on Robin Hood to retain some money and selling the former garage on 4th Street. That was voted on by the voters, was approved to sell it. There was 579 votes to yes, 300 to no. So that's where it all started, from selling that property. It's been for sale for 9 years. We've listed at least 3 realtors and had it for sale 2 or 3 times ourselves. It's always been for sale. There was a sign out there until not too long ago that the property was for sale, and I believe it's actually on the town website also that it's for sale. It was at one time. I assume it's still on there. I just wanted to make that statement. That's where that it's always been for sale, the property. Anybody else want to talk about board members?
Not this time.
No. Okay. Nicole, anything?
I just want to express, I've just absorbed a lot of public comment over the course of the last few weeks through many different aspects of the community. And I think it's really important, and I know we are tonight, to just really listen to what they have to say as we do serve them and our community. And I think we need to really take their thoughts into consideration as we move forward.
Okay. Heather, you want to add anything before we go to public?
I want to echo what Nicole has to say. I really we are here to serve the people, and I'm interested to hear what everyone has to say. I know I've gotten a lot of feedback from people in the community this week. It's been a very busy week or two, so.
Open the vote. Yep. I'm gonna open this to the public. There's, we give you each a couple minutes to speak. I'm trying to keep it minimal so we don't be here all night, but, go ahead. I want to keep this conversation civilized, and I'm certain here to listen to all your ideas and,
I guess we'll take Bill first.
okay.
All right, so if I've only got a couple minutes, and that's kind of what in the email today, I want to stress right off at the beginning, and I think this really should go to a public hearing, and it should be scheduled for the next select board meeting, because I cannot cover this letter in a couple minutes. But I'm going to try, and you stop me when you think you need to stop me, and then I know there's several other members of the Swanton Enhancement Project that are online tonight that are here to speak to back me up. So I'm going to get going. 7 members signed this letter. I know at least another 6 or so saw this letter and approved it in the email, because we wanted to make sure that the
23.
Swanton Enhancement Project steering committee was okay with this letter going forward. Before I begin, I want to thank all you members of the select board for what you do. It's not easy, and this time of year is not an easy time of year. We are here to talk positively about the 4th Street project. We're not here and to talk with any of this negative tone that I've seen on some of the social media. So I want to get that out right out front. Tyler, I know he's online and he's made an offer, and we just want to talk to you about what we think is important and what has changed. And right at the bottom line in the first paragraph, we're asking the select board to consider delaying the sale for 1 year while the Swanton Enhancement Project, Swanton Recreation Department, and other community stakeholders look at possible alternate uses for the property. I know 1 year is a long time. You may not want to do that. That could even be written in an agreement, like a right of first refusal or something. Some things have changed. Tax revenue for the town, or actually a few thoughts first. Tax revenue for the town. I've heard a lot of people talk about tax revenue, and I thought it was important. SEP thought it was important people understand the revenue to the town from that project. If the building and the land were evaluated at 1.2 million, would be less than $2,000 a year. There are other monies that would go to the village, and there are other monies that would go to the state. We know the state gets the largest portion of the taxes, but less than $2,000 would go to the town each year, and that money would go to the general fund. It wouldn't go into the highway fund. Mr. Chair, you mentioned the sale of the property. When I read the actual article that talks about the sale of town properties, it doesn't mention the 14th Street property, the old garage site, in the article. It certainly was covered in the slideshow that was done at the town meeting. So I'm not sure all 579 voters actually know which properties were being talked about, but it was a 579 to 300 vote. Fully understand that. But some things changed, and I know, Mr. Chair, you were at the meeting in December 2017, is we did take a look at that loan, and we did restructure the loan, and we started taking some money out of the highway department to make sure that at the end of the 15-year period, we would have the loan paid off. Now, our understanding is at the end of the 15-year period, we are going to be short some money, but that money could come from increase in the amount the highway department contributes toward that loan, or use to some of the capital reserve, because the way that article reads is payment to be the application of capital reserve funds and the proceeds derived from the sale of town properties. So I think there's some room in there for the select board to take a real good look at this and say, what is in the best interest? And in worst case is we go back out and talk to all the voters about this possible change. But I think there's enough wiggle room in there for you folks to take a look at this and say there's other ways we can get this loan paid off. So a lot has changed. And the thing that caught my eye, because I've only been involved in this in less than a week, when someone brought it to my attention, they said, you know what? It's something worth taking a look at. And the big change is this Lamoille Valley Rail Trail. I had no idea the state was going to go as quickly as they did to fund that thing and get the construction done. I actually walked on it, and it's very nice. And it has a lot of possibility to bring money into Swanton. And I think we need to take a minute and say, is that 4th Street property something that ties into the rec trail and also to the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail that we could benefit from? So I know Christine Sweeney has some great information that she will share regarding the increase in traffic we could see from having the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail here. And she'll get her opportunity in a minute. The next thing we talk about in the letter is the Recreation Community Center. It wasn't that long ago that we talked about it. We had a room full of people, standing room only, to discuss the teen center, rec center possibilities. Some things changed. We didn't get the support to get it onto the 2020 ballot. And we weren't able to successfully negotiate something that the select board was willing to go with. But the need's still out there. And I want to stress that. The need is still out there. So with COVID, everything got kind of quiet, and we didn't talk a lot about the need. Everyone kind of retreated, but now's the time to talk about it again. Attached is a sketch, because some people have said you couldn't fit a community center on that piece of property. Well, you can. If you take that piece of property and you make it continuous with the rail trail, some of the issues with setbacks and so on go away. I've shown a 9,000 square foot building, larger than anything we could probably afford right now, but it could be done in phases. I show a 9,000 square foot building on that property, and about 15 parking spaces as well. And you can take a look at that sketch, and you can see the elementary school parking lot and the size of the cars. That elementary school parking lot's 58 feet wide. So the scale of that sketch is approximately 1 inch equals 60 feet. Can be done. A little creativity, a little bit of wano, and it certainly could be done. I talked about COVID-19. At some point in 2021, things are going to open up again, and the need is going to be out there for additional space. Down the road, the Agency of Commerce and Community Development grant that Swanton received, huge sum of money, will be paid back to the town. And my understanding is up to 50% of that money might be available to the town to use for other types of development consistent with the ACCD guidelines. And stuff related to recreation, welcome center, that sort of thing is some of the things that they approve. So it could be 10, 15 years before all that money's available, but that shouldn't stop us from thinking about it now and saying this is what we might want to do. We give up that 4th Street property, and then we don't have a chance to use that money at that location. We know the Swanton Enhancement Project knows this isn't an easy thing to interject in this process at this time frame. But we feel it's pretty important to stand up, make our voices known, and ask the select board to give us that delay so we can take a look with those stakeholders and see what we could do possibly with that property. Once it's sold, that opportunity is gone. So we are asking for the delay, and we hope you'll give it its due consideration. I know other members are ready to chime in, so I'm ready to stop now unless someone has questions for me.
Thank you, Joel. Appreciate your words.
You're welcome.
Tyler wants to speak.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So Joel, to touch on a few things that you just mentioned there, were you referring to the teen center for the 9,000 square foot building or the 4th Street property?
I was talking about a possible 9,000 square foot facility on the 4th Street property.
Okay, so cost of construction relatively is anywhere from 200, and for municipalities right now is running about $350 a square foot. Not that I'm trying to oppose this, but do you really think taxpayers want to spend $3.1 million potentially on a building plus the cost to maintain and run it?
Wasn't
So-
really planning to get into this type of exchange, but one thing I said earlier is the building could be done in phases. A large basketball type court is a lot less money than $350 a square foot. You're talking basically a large steel building. So what we would do, and like I said, it could be phased.
But
and
once you
again,
eliminate green space, you're not in compliance with the zoning.
not eliminating all the green space. And again, I don't think we're intending to get into this level of detail right now. The SEP is asking,
You're getting an argument over it. I appreciate both of your
what
concerns.
we're asking is the opportunity to look at it. That's what we're looking.
Okay. And I do want to note that you were on the forefront of working with me and the Winters family on doing the teen center deal and trading for the 4th Street lot.
You're absolutely right. And I have no problem with you in trying to purchase this property. Fully understand.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Joel. Tyler? No one else like to speak? Betsy?
Went off camera.
Oh.
Go with Christine.
Go ahead, Christine.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so I had sent a letter the select board received last week just about my interest in delaying the sale. And Tyler, I don't know you, you're a businessman. I don't begrudge at all what you're doing. It's just, I've been working for the last couple years since I've been retired on the Healthy Community Task Force and really excited about the LVRT. And so I just wanted to express my view is all to the select board. So I followed up this afternoon with a letter to the select board, which you probably haven't a chance to read because it was late in the deal here. But I just wanted to mention a couple things. I did some research on this growth in outdoor recreation that's happened this past year during the pandemic. We see it in the media, hear about it. So I did a few things. I contacted Local Motion, and he gave this company that had done some statistics about the increase 20% and greater in the past year of cycling. But I also I visited with Earl's Cyclery, the bike shop that's down in Burlington on Williston Road, and I talked with a man there, and he said, the demand for bicycling has just exploded over the past year. They can't even possibly keep up with the demand. People are buying e-bikes and hybrid bikes, which are, people just average everyday people. They want to get out on a trail, a safe place to bike. They're not, going out biking 1,000 miles a year, any of that kind of thing. He gets calls from out of state. They want just safe places, flat trails. And, he just knows a lot about the LVRT and the other communities, Cambridge, St. Jay, that have really capitalized on this being in their community for community recreation as well as economic development. And he said, if a community wants to boost their economic development relative to this rail trail, the LVRT, all they need to do is put a parking lot next to it and people will come. It's turned into this like huge, unmet demand where people want to get out with their families, exercise, and all that. And it's, granted, it's, the whole pandemic demand may not last to this level, but the LVRT, the other communities that developed it, Cambridge and St. Jay, that happened before the pandemic. So there's sort of a model there for what they've done to bring local as well as out of state people to their communities to enjoy the community and spend money. The other thing is, back a few months ago, Betsy and we applied for a grant, and I talked with, and I'm going to get it here, Ken, Ken Brown, who's the Vast Trails manager, to get an estimate of the potential usage on our end of the LVRT. And he said that they do counts in Morrisville and Johnson. And they have around 15 to 20,000 counts per year in those areas. So we said a good estimate for our end would be the population of the local community. So the population of Swanton is 6,500 people. Granted, not all those people are going to use the LVRT, but he's just making the point that it just really draws people from all the communities around. And the last thing I'm going to just talk about is snowmobile use. Of course, anybody who's been on the LVRT here on this end, you know, there's snowmobilers, they're very courteous when I'm walking. It's, you know, it's a great opportunity for them, and we wouldn't have that trail if it wasn't for VAST. So, you know, you look on the website for Peak Performance in St. Albans, and they sell all different things, but all of their snowmobiles are listed as sold. So it's like this huge increase in snowmobiling. Plus there was an article just yesterday on Fox News Business about the explosion of snowmobiling. So it just seems like we've got this unbelievable opportunity that's been presented to us, you know, way ahead of when we thought it was going to be available, that we really need to capitalize on. So I just want to support what Joel is saying. I'm not in the SCP, I'm just a local volunteer, but it would be great to have some time just to look at these areas.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Betsy?
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. So I'm Betsy Fournier. I'm here with the SCP and also the Swanton Recreation Department. I'm the chair of the board. And I kind of just want to echo everything that Joel says. And we're just here to have a really positive conversation. And I know that everybody on this meeting is really community based, and we know that the community has a lot of great input. And I think it's a great opportunity to take the time to listen to each and every one of us. And positive or negative, everybody brings something to the table. But what I want to speak on is that, you know, in the last few years, the Swanton Recreation has, you know, expanded. We're trying to meet the needs of the community. Space in our community is a huge barrier. And we want to continue to grow. Through this pandemic, we have continued to give opportunities to our community and make sure that they have what they need, whether it's a day camp, outdoor recreation, or just some fun family entertainment. But we need that opportunity to expand. I know that, you know, the rec has said, no, we don't, maybe that's not a good space for us, but Swanton Rec did apply for a municipal planning grant to kind of put together a master plan of what we need and what is feasible for our community. We did not receive that grant, but there has never been any engineering done at the Recreation Department nor at the 4th Street property in the last 17 years that I've been the chair to really look and see what that space has. And I know that the select board supports our budget and our community supports our budget every year, but I think it's really time for us to come together as a community and to really support what we need and what we see as a vision to our community. And it's not all about recreation. It's about our senior community and every individual that lives here. And I would love to really get a better grasp on what our select board currently sees as a vision of Swanton, because I think where that property sits currently on the school, on the fit and healthy path, on the LVRT, it's an opportunity for us that we need to really capitalize on moving forward. So thank you for listening. And I hope that you will take our consideration and really ponder on it for a bit before you make a decision.
Thank you, Betsy.
I'm gonna swing over to page 2.
Okay. Anybody else want to speak?
Back over to page 1. Oh, it's Gordon. Okay. Gordon, Debbie?
I can thank you, James, and thank you, everyone. I just want to reiterate what we're asking for certainly isn't necessarily a community center. It might be recreation for the rec department. It may be adult recreation. It may be maybe working with Tyler on something on the property. It might be ultimately selling to Tyler. I think we're just asking for a little pause and to ask a committee, maybe put together by Betsy or put together by the rec department, and see what actually could happen on that land. And Tyler is a respected business person. I've known Tyler for a long time and his family, and certainly he's the developer, and that's his business, to develop. And he was presented a piece of land. He made a very good business deal, and we should have been here sooner. I certainly agree. I don't know what that land could be used for, and ultimately, I think maybe at the end it may be sold to Tyler. If he was in agreement, of course. Where in the time that the select board gives to this committee, that he's given a solid contract that if he wants it, he doesn't need to go back and get in another bidding process with another person, because he did nothing but offer to buy the land, and it was accepted. As far as I know, I may have it backwards there, but my point being that the only thing we're asking is for a little time, and that if that doesn't work, that the town upheld their deal with Mr. Stanislaus. We just don't know what could be there, and if there is anything possible it could be there.
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you, Gordon. Anybody else want to speak on 4th Street property?
Hold on.
Oh, I think Debbie's going to speak.
So just going back to, and again, I just reiterate what Gordon said, we're just asking for time. I know, Mr. Chair, what you said about the vote several years ago. I'm sure I voted for it. Today I would not. But I think the important thing too is that what Joel said, I didn't realize until today that we didn't vote to sell the 4th Street land. We voted to sell land maybe, but also use capital reserves to pay for it. So there wasn't a specific vote to sell that piece of land. I certainly wouldn't vote for it today. But I think, again, we're just asking for time because we really don't know what we don't know yet. And I was speaking with Kathy Lavoie today, and the Northwest Regional Planning is just starting to work with municipalities along the rail trail to see the economic development opportunities along the rail trail. I think we're just getting started on this. This could have a huge impact on Swanton, but once that, like Joel said, once that land is gone, it's gone. And I just hate to see it go. Just give us a little more time to look at it, Mr. Chair and Select Board, please.
Okay. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. Joel, did you want to say something?
Yes, just real quick, 2 things. One thing SEP would look at, it's not just the 4th Street property. And I think I mentioned we would already look at existing rec space. Robin Hood, where the trailhead is related to the railroad. Not all of that is town property right now. And then LaFar Street, I might have mentioned that all earlier, but so we're trying to look at a comprehensive set of areas in relation to the rec path and to the Moyle Valley Rail Trail, what we think is best for the future of Swanton and the citizens of Swanton. And then I just want to jump in real quick again about the green space issue. When that lot is combined with the existing rec trail, that green space issue is mute, because there's plenty of green space on the actual rec trail. So if the town were to retain the land, it could go to the DRB and make that all one piece of property. So a lot of those issues with setbacks, like I mentioned, and the green space would go away. So I just throw that out there as clarification again. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Joel. Anybody else want to speak on the 4th Street property?
Yeah, I would like to. My name is Dave Winchester.
Okay, go ahead, Dave.
Okay, really great feedback from everybody tonight, that's for sure. And very much, Joel, for your really great perspective. It does seem like it's not, we'd be selling ourselves short here if we sold this piece of land at a huge discount. And there's all kinds of arguments whether you can feed a piece of property or a building, this or that, or whether we should have it for sale or not for have it for sale. But certainly a lot has changed and evolved over the time that we, you know, I mean, for one thing, we removed the building that was on 4th Street. I mean, there's a lot that the taxpayers have paid to develop that piece of property. So one, I don't agree with the selling price. I do have issues with how it was sold or agreed to be sold in executive session without full transparency to the public and that thing, this and that. And, but you can get into those details if you want or not, but I still think it's way more beneficial for the vitality and the future of Swanton moving forward together to have a resource like this. Yeah, as everybody said, we have the beautiful playground right across the way. You have the trail. Now it's being linked to Lamoille Valley Trail. There's no place to really park for people to come in from the town into the village to use that trail. As convenient as that location is right there. Even if we didn't put anything on that building or on that piece of property for a long time, holding that investment into our future what ifs creates so much more positive energy and flow to have a vision for something better. And like you said, once that property is gone, how many 1.2 acre pieces of property do we have left in the heart of Swanton, the village? We don't. We own it. I don't see a rush. We're paying off the loans for the garage. The garage is fantastic. I voted for the garage. Like I said, I don't ever remember voting specifically on selling this piece of property for $250,000 or having a vote, but there were lots of things on that article or on that ticket that year to vote upon. But I've heard from so many people about the future and what could be. And I think even just as parking, it makes more sense than sell it for $100,000. And as far as real estate values go, real estate has appreciated quite a bit this last year. And I just see it worth more. And I've heard this business person, that person try to devalue it. And being a Swantonian and been around here for a long period of time, my family has property, it borders that piece of property. I grew up there. I played ball. I bounced baseballs off the back of the old town garage when I was a kid with my grandfather. So we have a strong attachment to that. And it really looks fantastic over there. So much better than it's ever looked in the 50 plus years that I've known the place. And I just, people love the trail. I love to see all that. There's lots of things to talk about. And at the very minimum, I would love to just delay this for a year. But and then the other thing, what is wrong with letting the voters choose to vote on whether or not they even want to sell this at this point anymore? There's so many new people coming into the community. Real estate's been snatched up left and right. There's a lot of positive vibe for moving forward, the best that we can. And I just find that that's a neat little link right there. There's a way to attract commuters in from out of town to park there as a commuter parking spot, overflow for the school, any number of things, add some exercise fitness stations to the trail. I've heard so many numerous things, but if we sell the piece of property, that disappears. And for Tyler, I challenge you to do your project on your piece of property over by the ball field. Start there. I really wasn't particularly crazy about some of the details around the teen center, but we don't need to go into that. Joel, yep. So
we're talking about 4th Street property.
4th Street property.
That's what we're talking about.
Correct.
Go ahead, continue.
Yep. So I don't understand what the push was to even think about selling this right now. But a lot of us in the community were under the impression it wasn't no longer for sale, and that was eventually going to be something else more positive for the community. So I really wish the board would make a motion to delay the sale for at least 1 year, or delay the sale altogether, or to put it to public vote. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dave. David.
David, you still there?
Oh,
Me?
David Winchester.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Are you done?
I can't, who is this though?
Wants to speak to you.
So,
Okay.
maybe it's not the time, but I'm gonna say, David, appreciate your feedback and comments, which are positive. Just to clarify something, there was no hidden agenda, an executive session. We discussed it, we came out, we made a motion. So your slanderous comments that you make here, make on Facebook, are not really any positive feedback to us. There's nothing wrong with having conversations such as you had tonight. But let's try to be positive and encouraging instead of being slanderous and act like we're doing something behind the scenes, David, because we did not. It's cut and dry. We talked about it and we came out.
Yeah, I shared the information because I don't think a lot of people knew about those details.
I don't think your information was factual.
Well, Joel, Gordon were there talking about it with you. They could probably share their reflections on that moment. I think the town made a pretty good offer. I don't think that throwing the forestry in on top of that offer was a good offer at all. And that put them in a precarious situation, did it not? And eventually I think they just threw in the towel and they gave up.
All right.
And we can argue this all day long, but I just don't think that was very ethically
Thank you, David.
supportive of the community. And I don't think that the discount warrants that. I just don't understand if people knew this type of transaction was being held. And
Dave,
Thank
were
you.
you on when we started this discussion about the forestry property and what I read? Were you listening? Or were you not on?
Who is talking now?
This is James, the chair.
Jim?
Before I opened it up to the public, I said that the property's been for sale on Forest Street for 9 years. It's been for sale with 3 different realtors and probably 3 or 4 times by herself. It's always been for sale. It's never been off the market. It's always been for sale on our website. And there's been a sign up there until not too long ago. So just to make that clear that it wasn't for sale and it's always been for sale.
Okay. Well, how about being transparent that an offer had been made?
We did.
We did.
This wasn't negotiated in the executive session before and out of transparency of the public.
We came out in executive session and accepted the offer. It's all it was is an offer.
Yeah, I think that people are a little tired of that type of information coming after the fact, I think, Jim. I think we need to be more responsible to the voters and to the owners of the property. A lot of people have had different visions. I don't see why it would have been harmful to have made sure that the voters were okay with this and put it to a vote first. We're this close to town meeting day.
David, it was just presented to us at that meeting. But thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else on the 4th Street property? Sean?
Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, hi, it's Sean Cheney. I don't have a side either way, whether this property should or shouldn't be sold. I see value in both sides of it. I see where it could be great for the community, but I also see where when a developer puts forward money to spend in our community, that's a positive thing for all of us. There's many situations where we sit around and see these properties that are falling apart and nobody wants to spend any money there. And I've sat through meeting after meeting through SEP from day one, literally day one of SEP. And I see the talkers there at all, but I don't see the doers. And I say this in a positive way, as in there's some phenomenal ideas that I've seen from a lot of the people that have been in those meetings, but I don't see the doers in those rooms actually looking to spend money in our community. And so when people like Gordon Winters start the ACE building, when people like Tyler want to actually spend money in our community, I'm thankful for that. Because in order to have a thriving community, we have to have all aspects. We have to have recreation, which is what we seem to push a lot around here. Recreation is pushed a lot because it's cheap. And I say that as it doesn't cost a lot of money to create recreation. it's difficult to create business. And in order to have that thriving community, we have to have all that. We have to have restaurants. We have to have business. We have to have community centers. We have to have places for all people to come through, no matter what their background is or what it is that they have interest in. And I think that site is a great site for recreational use, or possibly a children's center, things of that nature. As far as talking about snowmobiling there, the day that 5 or 6 trucks pull in there and offload half a dozen snowmobiles and go ripping out of there at 50, 60 miles an hour right next to the school will be the first day that's shut down in the winter. It's not even an option to access that right now. It's pavement from Robin Hood Drive down, so you can't even get there with a snowmobile. You definitely can for biking. That's a great facility or ability to build a facility for the summer there. But as far as winter, beyond maybe some snowshoeing or some cross-country skiing or something like that, there's definitely not a snowmobiling option there. And again, the day those snowmobiles go ripping out of there will be the day that the superintendent of the school will want to shut that down. We'll be saying that's not safe for our kids. We've got crosswalks there. I've watched Betsy at it quite a few years, and she'd be the first one to complain the second the snowmobiles came ripping out of there. As far as value goes, we had the ability to buy almost 25 acres, the town of Swanton, that was right there on Church Street, right in Swanton Village, for about $60,000 2 years ago. So you want to talk about missed opportunities. Right in back at Church Street, there was a 4-unit building right next to the old central school. The entire riverfront was for sale back there for quite some time. It was probably 4, 5, 6 months or better. You had both sides of the rail trail. You had village water, sewer, power, all those factors were there. And you had an old building that was there on the site. Could have been bought for 66, that's what it sold for, like 60 something thousand. So we could have 25, 24 acres or what it was in our village. So you want to talk about missed opportunities and the ability to do something phenomenal. That was the entire back of the church or the cemetery off Church Street in Swanton. I mean, phenomenal location. Nobody stepped up and said, let's buy that for our community at this point. But now we're saying, let's not sell this one. And again, it may be the right decision to not sell it or to come up with a better use for it. And I agree with the fact that maybe it is up to the voters to do that. But I'm very thankful that somebody like Tyler has stepped up after years of that sitting around and wants to actually spend money in our community. As far as value goes, there's no property in Swanton Village at 1.2 acres or 1 acre that has ever sold for over $100,000. Never happened. The one piece of property that sold for $95,000 on Grand Avenue that I've seen referenced had a house on it. So that was torn down in order to put up a Habitat for Humanity home. Again, public money that's coming for that. I can show you sale after sale after sale in that area for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 on half acre, quarter acre lots. I just bought a quarter acre 2 blocks away from there with village water, sewer, septic, power for $25,000. It's not the value that's the issue. You want to go spend $75,000, I can get you an acre right now in Franklin Park West. We have 12 acres available bordering Walmart right now for $600,000. That's $50,000 an acre. So when it comes to value, saying this lot was worth $250,000, that was never going to happen for our taxpayers. It's unfortunate that that was used, or maybe the word isn't used, but it was used as a leverage to get our new town garage. And if people were under the impression that it was worth $200,000 and that was the reason that they voted on that, I'm sorry, because it was never going to be worth $250,000. It was never going to be worth $200,000. It was never going to be worth $150,000. We've actually caught up in value now, which is why it's probably being sold at $100,000, because that's actually, it's catching up because of value. But $100,000 is a very generous offer. So I'm not, again, disputing whether it should or shouldn't be used for one purpose or another. But if value is your reasoning, then $100,000 is a very generous offer. And again, go to Franklin Park West right now in St. Albans, and you can get a commercial lot from 1 to 10 acres for $75,000 an acre. City water, sewer, and power. Or you can buy it joining Walmart right now for $50,000 an acre. Buy 1, buy 12 for whatever your project is. So for us to think that the value of this lot is worth hundreds of thousands, it's not. And so I support the community in whatever decision they want to make. And I hope they make the best one for our community, whether it's selling it to Tyler, who will possibly do development in town, or if it's going to be retaining it for another use down the road. I'm supportive of either avenue, but I just want to make sure the facts are out there. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, John.
Anybody else want to speak on the 4th Street quickly? Everybody's told.
Looking like we're done.
Mhm.
Can you look in the comments? I think it's mostly been reiterating what.
Good.
There we go.
Everybody spoke, so to speak. You want to add anything?
We'll have to table that.
Yeah. I'll let you guys go first if you want to say anything. Yeah.
Can you read the comments out loud, Elizabeth?
So, here we go. So Nicole agreed with Debbie. Dawn agreed with Debbie. Darcy said, well said, everyone. I hope that the board will consider the voice of the public. Me too, Darcy. Tyler, the fact that I emailed Mary to take the teen center over and run it and they never responded at my expense. You saw that email, Dave, and I showed it to you. Looks like they made up looks a lot like their minds are made up. I think that community-centric projects have to have a different expectation for their timelines as it simply takes longer to organize people to take collective action, i.e. raise money. A developer will always be able to say, I will give you this much upfront right now, something that community organizers can never do. Time is what is needed to give people, to give people an equal chance to make a credible case. Sorry, my mouse got. And then Welsh said Sean was the last comment.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Yes, I remind you, this was public comment.
No, you're good. All right, this is Mark, everybody. I'm gonna start and just put some things out there for me, right, for my own. I wholeheartedly support the rec center. I've always said that to Betsy, and you guys, you do a phenomenal job. I think you're one of its greatest assets. I wholeheartedly support a community center. Although I do not believe that that spot is the ultimate spot that would best serve the community. Joe, I thank you for your sketch. It's doable there. But even 14 parking spots, how quick would we outgrow that? I think the community center would be an ideal location somewhere within the rec center area, in the 13 acres over there. To have a big sports facility and maybe have some classrooms and some housing, some opportunities there. That's where I think that would serve the community best in that location. So I do support both of them. Betsy, you did say in one of your emails that you did not think the community center would be ideal there. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out which is best by that statement. Again, there was no shady deals amongst us guys, regardless of what's out there. We try not to backdoor anybody. We're open. It was presented. We made a decision because the land was for sale for so long. So regardless of what's out there on social media, there was no backdooring anybody. And that's the God's honest truth. That's all I got. And thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Mark. I'll echo a little bit of what Mark said. I think we've had this discussion before, Betsy, about the community center. My feeling is it should be over at the rec center in that area. You've got all your ball fields there, your soccer fields there. There's more room for it. You got more room for parking. I just feel it would be more utilized there than would it be on that small lot. It just makes sense to me. The other thing is that lot, with being on the rail trail for parking, my opinion is if you're gonna have parking and stuff for the rail trail, it should be out on Robin Hood on that end. That way the trucks and trailers, if it was eventually made a parking lot for snowmobile stuff, they could get on the trail there and go. Obviously they can't snowmobile on the paved section of the trail. So it would kind of useless to make a parking lot for, I know you're not only looking at it for the snowmobilers, but it makes sense to make it for everybody to use to get on the trail.
We also have other things we have to think about. We have the rec center for parking next to the rail trail. We have the train depot. We have Robin Hood, not that there's a parking spot there yet, but, and the other asset we have in the village is Marble Mill. I know it's not on the rail trail, but it's not far from it. There's another valuable piece of property that's within the village that we need to think about. Those are just my thoughts on the property. And that's basically where I came from to sell it. Yeah, do you want anything?
Yeah, thank you, James. I just, as most of the listeners out there know, I'm relatively new to the board, only been on the board for October. And so I've done a lot of listening, and it seems to me, since this information got out on possible sale of this property, there's a very minimal group, such as the folks that are here tonight. So that kind of gives me a message that we have a lot of other people that are thinking that we're doing the right thing and moving forward with selling this property. And I guess the one thing that I would be happy to hear from anybody that's here tonight is where's everybody been for the last 7-8 years that this property's just been sitting there, not doing anything? So it just, I would like to have some reasoning from any or all of why all of a sudden, after all this time gone by, that we've got all this concern. I just haven't been able to comprehend that. And I'm all for listening, my ears are wide open, but I need that for somebody to convince me that we shouldn't go forward with selling this property.
Joel, you were first, and Sean.
Sean had his hand up there a couple of times and pulled it down. He was before me.
What do you say?
Sean, go ahead.
I'll be brief. Just in general, regardless of the board's decision, I think they've seen a lot of outcries from the community now that they want to look into this a little bit more before the sale actually happens. I'd love to see development in our town. Love to see it. However, it seems like there's a lot of outcry now at this point. So maybe, it has to go in front of a vote. But just the same, I don't think the board knew this when they made their decision. So, in their defense, when they made their decision to discuss this last month, this has been a very dead topic. It's been sitting around for 8-9 years. Nobody's come to the table and actually made an offer that could be accepted or was acceptable. I've met with previous boards in executive session on this lot myself for me to purchase it. And I've also advised multiple other buyers who have all met in the executive session. And if they would have put offers forward that were strong enough for that board, I'm sure that board would have accepted it. And those were previous boards, not the one that's here now. So this has kind of been the way it's been done in the past, is it's gone through the board. So I want to make sure that the people understand that the board hasn't done anything wrong in making their decision, but they've also now found out that there's some other support, or maybe that the townspeople have changed their opinion from what was put forward to them 8 years ago. Okay, so 8-10 years ago, it was let's sell this, and that was at that time. And I think if an offer would have come in within a year or two, maybe we wouldn't even have this discussion right now. But we're in a different time, so I just want to make sure that people understand the board has not done anything that they were not instructed to do at this point. And I've done this with previous boards. So I would hope that the previous boards wouldn't have been attacked in the same way that you have been. And so make your decision, whatever you decide it's going to be, whether it's yours or whether it's off the public opinion. But just the same, I just want to make sure people understand that this has gone through long before this actual group of people. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Sean. Nicole.
Joel wanted to say something.
Oh, Joel, okay. We didn't have to finish you guys speaking, so. Go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, I couldn't pass up the opportunity. Ed, you said you wanted to hear from us out here. You've only been on the board for a short time, so taking a look and seeing the number of people here, plus the number of signatures on our letter, and to say it's minimal input and it doesn't represent, a larger portion of the community is a little bit unfair. I echo what Sean says. I don't consider one thing you guys done as wrong But I tried to portray in the letter, and I think I failed for you, Ed, is yeah, some things have changed in the last year. That piece of property, we didn't think it was going to go for a long time. It's been out there. So now that it did, and it went so quick, some of us are jumping on board to trying to ask for a pause. But to say it's just minimal input and using that for your decision, I don't think that's fair. So I just want to give that feedback. I don't think you guys have done anything wrong. That's not what we're asking from a Swanton Enhancement perspective. All we're asking for is a little time to take a look at the LVRT 14th Street property and the rec trail and see how it all fits in. Thank you.
I respect your opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Betsy.
I just wanted to clarify what Mark and James had said about the community center. I don't know where, or rec space community, I don't know where the ideal space is. And I don't think that's my decision to make alone. I don't think it's everybody on this call's decision to make. I think it's a community decision. I don't know where the ideal space is. Like I said, we applied for a municipal planning grant to kind of get that idea. We didn't receive it, but I think, I've sent proposals to the select board. I've, when we tried to work out the deal with the teen center, and so there's opportunity for growth. I just don't want you to think that, maybe that's not the ideal space. Maybe the rec department is, but we don't know. And Mark and James, you can't say it's not, because it's not, it's our decision to make. So we can't really say which space is ideal because we don't know. It's a community decision.
Okay.
Would like to talk.
Thank you, Betsy. What's that?
Gordon would like to talk.
Okay. All right, guys. Go ahead, Gordon.
Sorry, I think Joel got what I was gonna say, but I just want to say the select board to me has been nothing but upfront. I've spoken to James quite a bit, and he's been nothing but gracious and telling me everything that went on. I don't think there was anything done that's underhanded, but I did just want to. I was asking to speak because I wanted to just clarify Ed's comment of what he said, and would like to understand it a little more. That he said, because if I understood him, that he said because there's no one on this line that is speaking for it, and he hasn't, that means that the public wants this done. I guess I just wanted some clarification from Ed that he doesn't consider the people that are on the line now and the emails that probably the board's received and the public comment, that there's something somewhere that people are asking for him to reconsider this.
What I was saying, Gordon, is I know a couple of the select board members have said that people have reached out to them personally in regards to the sale of the 4th Street property. And I can speak for myself, I've only had one person reach out to me in regards to it. I met with that person and we agreed to disagree, but that's okay. I wasn't trying to misdirect what I was saying, and I'm not backtracking. What I'm saying is I expected a lot more people to be here tonight in reference to the fact that everybody knows that this was up for discussion tonight. So what I meant by that, and I'm sorry if the folks on board misunderstood me, for saying that I see just a handful of people that are here tonight that would like to have us put this on hold for a year and see where it goes. In my mind, if there was more people that was against the present deal selling it to Tyler, I would expect that we would have seen a lot more people here tonight. And if I misrepresented that, I apologize.
And again, we're just asking, it's not about any board decision with Tyler or anything that we might find out. I think you might find out that the best thing to do is sell it to Tyler, and that's my opinion, but there may be just some other avenues to look at, and that's all, in my opinion, that's all we're asking for, but thank you.
Thank you. I hope I've clarified that.
All right.
Debbie?
All right, guys, everybody's had a chance to speak already. I'm just gonna finish up real quick here. I won't do it all night, but Debbie, did you want to say something?
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say, for those of you who don't know the Swanton Enhancement, Betsy and I co-chair the Swanton Enhancement Project, and it's a large group. The steering committee is made up of various stakeholders, including 2 representatives of the town of Swanton. And so I think what we're talking, everyone has talked a lot about what could go there, what couldn't go there, what should go there, where it should go. Use SEP. That's what we're here for. I mean, we're here to, we have economic development task forces, we have healthy communities task forces, we have communications and beautification task forces. That's what we're here to do. And I know everyone has their opinion, but use our task forces, use our steering committee, use our group to help formulate a vision. Take some time and use us. That's what we do. So I respect everyone's opinions, but let us help to try to get a vision together. Just take a little time, please.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you for considering.
Thank you.
Speak, Sandy, just speak.
Hello.
No.
Sandy Colburn.
Hi, this is Elizabeth.
Yes.
This is Molly.
Oh, hi, Molly.
Hi, and I want to thank the select board for giving the public all of this time, and just to say we should be celebrating every minute of this conversation and every comment that's been made, because this is the signal of a very vital and healthy community. This request to get involved in helping to create a vision is looking toward the future of an even more vital and healthy community. And as Sean said, we need all aspects, all sectors of our community to be represented in this discussion. And just wanting to echo Debbie and Betsy's offer to use the Swanton Enhancement Project to generate more of this discussion, and certainly have great appreciation for the private sector contribution to our community. Without it, we wouldn't be having this vital discussion. And anyway, this is more of a thank you, and just wanting to celebrate everything that we've heard tonight.
Thank you, Molly. That it? Oh, we never got finished. Go ahead, Nicole. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Darren. I just would like to thank you all for coming tonight to discuss this topic. I think having a great community conversation is really important to moving forward. I just wanted to touch upon Mr. White. You only see a small bit of faces here, but a lot of these people do represent a larger group of people. I know the SCP is just one of many organizations in town that do take feedback from a lot of people and try to disperse that, in the best interest of their group. And I think we as select board members are all here because we genuinely care about the community and want to serve to the best of our abilities. And I think really taking an opportunity to listen to what these folks say and giving them an opportunity to show that they think there's value there. I think allowing them the opportunity is important. But I also think it's a very great offer on the table, and I don't want to miss out on that opportunity as well. So I really think that, in my opinion, you know, the community should have an opportunity to vote on whether or not moving forward is the best way for us to go. Thank you.
Yep. Heather, do you want to add anything?
Well, I've had an opportunity to listen to everybody, and I'm really grateful for everyone that's come and you know, spoken their heart. And you know, a lot of it resonates with me. I personally think that it should be up to the voters to choose whether or not to sell this property. And I know, you know, what was spoken about how this is a small group of the community, but I want to kind of bring it back to the fact that how are we communicating with the community? Who knew that this was going on? How do we reach the people to make sure they know that this is going on so they can make a choice? I mean, we had the link that was shared with me for the Zoom, and I posted it on social media, and the link wasn't good. So one of the letters was wrong. And so anybody that would have gone to that and got denied may have just gone on with the rest of their day. And my concern is, was the information out so that people could speak? If that's what it needs to be, more than 30 people that speak. And I agree with what Nicole says, that these people are heads of groups that are speaking on behalf of a dozen other people. So it's not, you see the small amount, but there are a lot more people that are concerned about this. You know, I do agree with bringing business to the community, and I think we do need to have concerns about how we're funding things and how we're paying off our debt and how we're, you know, bringing in more. Agree with a lot of what was said here, where we can't replace this property. Once it's gone, it's gone. And it is in the heart of the village. So it's a really great location, and it's right across from the playground. So I do see the value in that as well. Yeah. So I'd like to make a motion to defer the sale of it until we can hear from the public at a public meeting. And to just discuss with that, and then perhaps even have a community discussion, and then even put it on the ballot next year about whether or not to sell the 4th Street property.
Nicole, second.
You say that motion again, Heather?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that before we sell the property, we have a community discussion to get a good, you know, to have a community discussion about selling the 4th Street property. Should I make them in 2 different motions? And then put it on up to vote for the community to choose whether or not to sell the property.
Good. And it doesn't have to be a year.
Yeah, it doesn't have to, yeah, if we can vote on it sooner. I don't know when we're like if we want to have an impromptu vote, but that would cost more money. So if we could defer a year, and then there would be able to be information that could be researched, and I know that SEPs.
One second.
I'll second. I think the community needs to vote.
Okay. All right, we have a first and a second. We'll do a roll call. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ted? Nay. James? Nay. Mark?
I have another motion, but
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna do after we suggest we do something different from motion, but
Can we, and
He can vote down the motion and then put his own motion, or you can vote for the motion. I'm not telling you.
I was gonna suggest wording it differently, but
Which part of my motion do you have an issue with?
I don't have an issue with your motion if you're out talking to me, Heather. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
If is there something that you'd like me to spruce up?
No, I was gonna entertain another motion that I presented, but but I can't do that now.
Well, you can, if it doesn't go through, then you can maybe.
One line.
Right.
Heather, can you say your motion again for me, please?
I'd like to make a motion that we have a community discussion to bring the information to the community so they can be educated about it. And then after, following that, I would like to have it voted upon so that the community can decide whether or not to sell the 4th Street property. Given more opportunity, I could make that shortened, but that's what's coming off right now.
Clarify communication. Is it just communication about the sale of the property? Heather, are you looking for like everyone who's here communication as well?
I would like a community discussion that is actually advertised, that we will be having a community discussion about the 4th Street property so that the public knows, because if you look at the agenda, it just says that 4th Street property, it discuss 4th Street property. It doesn't actually say whether or not what we're going to do with it, what the application.
It says right on there, have their property sale.
Sure. But I think that we can do one better than that. I think we can have a community discussion and get more people involved so that we can all make sure we're on the same page.
So your motion is to put it out for public discussion, have a special meeting for public discussion on it. And also in the same motion, you want to put it out to taxpayer vote. Right?
Would you like me to separate them to 2 motions? Would that make you more comfortable?
You already made the motion though, so.
I can rescind the motion and try again.
Say that again, David.
Second is the one who rescinded.
Yeah.
And then you can make a move.
I just want to clarify, I'm not hesitant to yea or nay. This is going on me, which way I go to how this goes. So I want to make sure that I'm answering this with the best for all of us. I have no problem community discussion. If you can redo that with a timeline, I'd be more apt to accept.
Okay, so what you're saying is you don't want to wait a year. That's what makes you uncomfortable?
Correct.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion?
I don't think it's fair to the offer that we've gotten or somebody else.
Okay, James, what is your?
I make a suggestion that we make a motion to have a public hearing on this property within 30 days. So that anybody in the public can come and make their spiel, say their piece about this property before we make the ultimate decision to sell it.
Can I suggest 45 days to get you well past town
Town
meeting day?
Yeah, well, we'll already pass that 30 days.
Yeah, but it'll be a couple of weeks.
Second meeting in March.
Yeah, if that can be rescinded and rephrased with a timeline such as that, I think that's favorable for me. I think even for Tyler, for somebody or anybody to wait a year for our decision, we're gonna be back to square one.
So here are my issues with that is if you were to approve the sale of the purchase today, we still have 30 days. Well, we don't, the people of Swanton have 30 days to petition to stop the sale of it anyway. So that's kind of like the same timeline that the people of Swanton are already dealing with. I would like to see a vote on it. And it sounds like what the majority of the board I can't see you guys, so I don't know. You guys don't want to have it voted upon, is that correct? You don't want the community to vote on it, you just want them to discuss it?
No, Heather, I think what they're trying to ask for is to redesign the motion, to have a community discussion within 30 days, and then have the community vote on it.
Is that correct? Is that correct?
Well,
It would have to be a special town meeting.
Because it's not gonna.
yeah,
it's not
no,
gonna
we
be in March.
can't make a special meeting to vote on the property issue.
You can have a
Right.
special vote, you can do a special vote, but it's not gonna be voted on in the March meeting.
No,
Right,
no,
right.
it's-
There's no way
yeah,
that's gonna
no,
happen.
and that's not what I was trying to get at.
It's gotta be 45 days.
I think
before.
the first thing is if you truly want that, we need to have a public meeting in 30 days on the property so that we, the board, can get a feel of everybody in the community. It's all put out there. We got 4,000 something taxpayers. I want to hear from them. That they either want us to sell it because they want the tax money to put it on the taxes, or they want to keep it for recreational use. I want to hear more from the community.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at.
I want to hear from people. I just don't want it to prolong it 6 months a year. I'm in favor of
I agree.
allowing the public.
I
I'm
agree
all
with
for
that as
it,
well.
the transparency. I just have a hard time accepting this could go on for a long time.
30 days. That would be the second meeting.
That was, yeah. So what?
I'm very passionate about putting it up to vote. I think that's the right way to go.
I think that's what the discussion is for. I think if we have that public meeting, and then we can decide at that public meeting, if there's that much support and that much passion for this project compared to how many people don't want it and want us to put the money towards the debt, then we can make that decision that whether we need to put it out to vote or not at that point. Does that make sense? There's no sense of having public comment on it if we're already gonna say we're gonna put it out to vote. Because it's already up to the taxpayers to vote on it, and that's where it's gonna be.
Community discussion brings forth more information about everything. It doesn't just, I mean, I've learned more here just listening to the people that have attended. I think a community discussion is definitely necessary, but putting it to vote.
Heather, they're for the community discussion. They just want to have a timeline on it, to have the discussion within 30 days.
But then she wants it to go to.
Okay, well, I guess all right. So the only way we're gonna do this is if we have a community discussion, but nobody's in favor of putting it to vote.
Not at this point.
Okay,
I want to hear more from the public.
okay. And then,
That's my theory.
so, and to do that, we would.
Heather, if I may, where I'm going is here is I don't want to be forced to make a motion to accept the purchase and sales agreement and we sign it and then go force the public to get the signatures to have that meeting is what I'm trying to get away from.
We're trying to offer that meeting.
Right.
Am I correct? We're trying to
Correct.
offer that meeting now to give people more time
Exactly.
to discuss the option.
Okay.
And then we would make our vote from there. Am I understanding that
Correct.
correctly?
And we'll make that decision there.
Okay, so I guess I make a motion to.
Hang on, you gotta resend
So
the
I
first one.
would rescind my second on
Yeah.
Heather's motion.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll rescind my original motion.
Now you can make
Now,
it-
I will make a motion to delay the sale so we can have a community discussion to examine the benefits for Swanton and the overall benefits for Swanton and hear from the community. And I'd like that to happen within 35 days. 35 days from now. Is that on a Tuesday?
March 16th would be the date. That's our second meeting in March.
Okay. We wouldn't have a special meeting. We would just lump it in with the select board meeting.
I don't see why we can't just put it in there. Yeah, it'll be fine.
There won't be much of that.
Yeah, there won't be a lot on that time of the year anyways in March, so. Okay, so can you say that again, your motion real quick?
Okay, I'm making a motion to delay the sale of the 4th Street property so we can have a community discussion to examine the benefits for the overall Swanton community in 35 days from now.
Fair enough.
And I will second that.
Yeah. Yeah. we'll just make it, it's on March 16th. And that'll be the date for the meeting, and it'll give us.
Okay, so you amend my motion to March 16th.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
And I
She
second.
seconded already. All signify by saying aye. Heather,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
James, aye. Mark,
Aye.
Nicole, aye. Okay.
Would you like me to finish reading the comments?
Sure.
So
Yes, please.
now we're gonna move on.
Okay, let me get to, well said, Sean. Nicole, thank you, Joel. A handful of people equals 30 plus. There are attendees or interested parties who have deferred to spokespersons who already spoke or agreed to speak. It doesn't mean we are in support, just being efficient and effective. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I've already spoken, but I just want to say to the select board that what has changed since the decision in 2019 is the community visit in 2015, which has jump-started various committees and initiatives to improve our community. We are just, I'm sorry, it's hard to breathe through this mask. We are just hoping for some time. For me personally, what is a huge change is the LVRT completion in Swanton, which I didn't think would ever happen in my lifetime. Also, as a point of clarification, I realize that the 4th Street property is not appropriate for snowmobiles. I was simply expressing support for that recreation on the trail. Swanton is such a special community, and I, for one, am so appreciative that our community is willing to listen to the possibilities. Thank you for Nicole, for your response to Ed's comment about participation and interest. No matter which way the board votes, the folks that are speaking are representing many. You don't want to hear every voice, so the ones that are speaking are doing so. You don't have time for that. These folks are the ones that volunteer for every organization and community. Either way you vote, for selling or not, but to dismiss the group based on Ed's belief that it's only a few, are asking for this, how insulting to those who are here. Thank you, Select Board, for your wise consideration. Thank you, Heather, for recognizing that you can discuss alternate consideration as part of the discussion. It needs a timeline. Who was speaking in the background? That was Kathy Fournier, by the way. It doesn't say in public hearing. What is the definition of enough public support? A year has been put forward. The board is saying 30 days. It's powerful. How about 90 days? What kind of attendance is enough? Of a 6,000 population, only 3,500 voters, and still 900 show up to vote, less than 900 show up to vote. Today's attendance is much more than most meetings. 99 plus 8 plus 4. What Ed is saying is there's over 4,000 taxpayers and only 30 on this call, and not everyone spoke about this. And then, strike my comment, almost dropped the laptop. Okay, that was the addition. Could someone from the board please explain why sales like this are done in executive session versus the public segment of the meeting? Good job, Heather. Epstein didn't kill himself.
That's nice.
Really, people.
Okay, hold on. That was it. Land on that note. Okay.
All right.
February
Anything else?
22nd, budget information.
I'm all set.
I'm all set with the 4th Street.
I certainly thank all you guys for coming in. I just want to make sure that we take our time and have the conversation. And part of me wanting what I did is, Heather, you had mentioned that some people probably couldn't call in because the link was wrong. So if there are people that didn't get involved tonight, they still have that chance to come in and talk.
I would also encourage people out there, if they don't want to Zoom in, call us selectmen, get hold of the town office. David can get you the numbers to call us. Our phone numbers are on the website. Please come to the select board. Don't go to Facebook. Call us. It's not, Facebook's not solving anything. It just creates too much drama. We're all here to listen. We're all here to work on this together. policy, whatever, I already said it all, so. Anything else on 4th Street? We're gonna move on to the third meeting.
I just want to say, James,
Yep.
if I offended any of the listeners in any way, I'll personally apologize for that. That certainly wasn't my intent. And like James said, and Mark said, feel free to reach out to us. And I've always been told that I'm a great listener, so can't guarantee what the result of this is going to be, but I'm certainly open to listen to your pleas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, folks. I think that was it. Old Town business. Announced February 22nd budget informational meeting. So next Monday, February.
I just want to thank everybody for coming in. It sounds like we're moving on to the next business, right?
We are.
So thank you, everybody, for coming in and sharing your opinions and your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Announcement, February 22nd, next Monday is the budget informational meeting. You don't have a time on here, David. It's at 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just to announce, to make people aware, and it's supposed to.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And that is a Monday.
Well, I can read it again. So yeah, they were gonna, and there's nothing.
Down below.
Yeah, I found it now. Okay. Yeah. And it'll be by Zoom for the public, and it's at 7 p.m. on February 22nd, Monday. Please all join us. Thank you. Now it's town meeting information and 2020 reports available on the website and announced for absentee ballots. If you haven't got your absentee ballot and you like, you can call the town clerk's office here at 868-4421 and they'll mail you out an absentee ballot. Please get your absentee ballot or come and vote. It's very important that you vote.
Have we passed out location wise
Did we distribute the
Starting tomorrow.
tomorrow? Okay.
okay, they're all going to be distributed tomorrow?
Can we say where they're gonna be? We have that list.
I'll post a list on the website.
Probably every.
Most every store in Swanton should have some.
Fields.
They're here at the town hall.
Post office.
Yeah.
Every convenience store, every
Gas station.
gas station.
Just wanna make sure we're on the outskirts.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mother Hubbard's should have them.
Yeah, Cambus's Market gets it, and Mother
Mhm.
Hubbard's Tractor Supply.
You can always call here and they can leave you one outside too, if you want to come and pick one up. And community economic development,
I'm gonna keep it really short.
thank you.
Just working on the grants that we've been talking about. We do just food.
Yep.
Because we need to talk about leader.
Yep,
And I will leave it at that. Because everybody got the late, I apologize, I just got it from the town attorney. So he has several areas of the grant agreement that he wanted to bring to your attention. I'll run through them fairly quickly. It's mainly wording. Number one, he said that he's happy to push it to the gear system. That has to come from David. We have no choice on that. So.
No, I know, I'm the one.
I know, but that's a question that Brian asked on it, so I'm just telling them that it has to be David. Number two, he would like to add a clause to the extent required by law, just as a clarification. I don't think that's anything that's gonna hold us up. I'll forward that to the state. The payment provisions call for $1,005,000 in private funds from Leader. We are aware that that is the matching funds that Leader put up. Leader is running through those funds. The state is aware of that, but Brian is saying he wasn't aware of that. That's not something he's been involved in, but that is part of the grant agreement. And that was actually part of the loan application, was those matching funds. The number 4 and 5 are together. Those are all of the policies mandated by federal law and therefore the state. We already have those. You finished those up last week with the financial policies and procedures. So those are all in place. The environmental review release letter does not apply to us because we're not constructing or doing any rehabilitation. It's strictly a retention of jobs. It's capital funds. So that does not apply. I can certainly provide Brian with a copy of that letter, just so he sees it. And then the scope of work, section G, sections E4 through E8, and sections H and I are things that have to be done prior to the first disbursement of funds. All of those have been done. We're just waiting for the grant agreement to be signed to get those uploaded into the GEARS system, which is the state's grant system. So that's a non-issue. So he, as you can see, he says, with that, I recommend the board approve the grant agreement subject to the minor changes as approved by the town's attorney.
Okay.
So in addition to that, just as a last point, is the state is asking that the security language be put back into the loan agreement, which is a separate agreement from the grant agreement. So I'm suggesting that that is at the town attorney right now. So I'm suggesting that you make the same motion for the loan, that the loan be approved, the amended loan agreement be approved pending the return of that agreement from Brian.
Okay.
So those are the two things I'm asking that you do to clear that up. I do have a meeting with the state tomorrow, and I'm going to ask Kathy to join me in that meeting if she wants to. I think it's at 1:30 to talk about the first disbursement of funds, how that's actually going to happen, and it kind of makes sense. And she's the disperser to have her on that meeting.
Okay.
So we may actually get these funds dispersed.
Yep.
If not this week, the beginning of next week.
That'd be super.
That appreciate it.
Yeah.
Super. So,
Okay, you get someone to make those motions?
So I'd like to make a motion that the board approve the grant agreement subject to minor changes as approved by the town attorney.
Okay.
Two individual motions, or would you take it as one?
Do we need two or one, David?
Better do them separate.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll do that. We got a second on that?
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
James, aye. Mark?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Ayes have it. And the second one?
I would also like to make a motion approving the amended loan and security agreement based on the approval of the town attorney and authorize David to sign it.
I'll second it.
All right. Yes, I
Oh.
think it was authorized me to sign it.
Authorizing James to sign it.
Yeah.
Also second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
James, aye. Mark?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
thank you.
Anything else, Elizabeth?
No, just working on some of the continuing grants that I've
Okay.
been working on, so I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Orders, general?
Ready for a motion?
Yeah, go ahead. You can make a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the general orders dated January 20th, 2021 to February 16th, 2021.
I second it.
All right. Discussion? Take a second.
I didn't receive the orders.
I sent them in an
They're in
email
an email.
yesterday morning.
I don't see them. Yesterday morning, you said?
Yeah, I
Yep.
got a notification that they were delivered. I also do a delivery. I don't ask for a red one.
Yeah, I got it.
I got them
It
too.
sent at 9. I think I found it.
I also got.
Okay, all right, as long as you got it.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I have no discussion.
Okay. We distributed money for the grant for the library, Kathy?
Yes.
Yeah, for the windows, okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
James, aye. Mark?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Highway?
I make a motion to accept the highway orders dated January 20th, 2021 to February 16th, 2021.
You get a second?
I second it.
You seconded, Ed. All
Yes, I
right,
did.
any discussion?
Looks like a lot of truck repairs.
What's that?
Looks like a lot of truck repairs, huh?
There has been a lot. Yep. Yeah, quite a few.
Time of year.
Just fixing A lot of little things there, but there is some,
The more you plow, the more it breaks down.
yeah, there is always something.
Luckily, they're so handy. Again, fix it up.
That's right.
I have no discussion.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
James, aye.
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Nicole? Aye. Ayes have it. Okay, payroll. I'll entertain a motion for payroll.
I make a motion to accept the payroll orders dated January 20th, 2021 to February 16th, 2021.
I'll second that.
Second it. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Aye. Aye.
James, aye. Mark? Aye. Nicole?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay. Expenditures. Liquor control. Do we have liquor control tonight?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I need a motion to go into liquor control.
I'll make the motion to enter liquor control at 9:08.
A second on that?
A second.
All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather? Heather, aye.
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Aye. James, aye. Mark? Aye.
Aye.
Nicole, aye. Ayes have it. We're now in liquor control. What do we
Okay.
have?
I have 3 liquor license renewals, one for the Spirits of Swanton, other cupboards covered, and Jolly Associates, and none of them have any violations in the past year, or actually before that, and no violations, and it's just a straight renewal.
Okay. Can I hear a motion to approve those liquor licenses?
James, I make a motion that we approve those liquor license for those 3 applicants.
A second on that?
I second
Nicole will second that. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
James, aye. Mark?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Ayes have it. I entertain a motion to go back in a regular meeting.
I make a motion, we enter back into our regular select board meeting.
Thank you.
I second it.
All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
James? Aye. Mark?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Ayes have it. We're now back in our meeting. Highway, salt sand update. We have about 2/3 of the salt sand shed left. We have quite a bit left for this time of year. Salt, we're still doing good on too. Don't have any other updates. We're busy plowing and working on the trucks and stuff when they're not. Yeah, the BB Road. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, last year, we applied for 2 grants on the structure. And the structure grant program. One was the typical class 2 paving for redoing all of BB Road. And the other was to replace a large culvert on a metal culvert on BB Road where the old farmhouse is in that area. The one that's there now is bent downward in the middle. And those were submitted to the state, but last year, because of the COVID, the legislature cut off the funding for all those types of grants last year. I got an email from Jim Cota, the District 8 director, the other day, who said that this year the legislature is going to be putting the money back in. It'll probably be even more money this year than there was normally for a class 2 paving. So what he said the town could do is just give him the word and they'll just resubmit what was submitted to them last year. Yep. And not acted on. So tonight, I just wanted to have the board just reaffirm that that's what you want to do. Just make a motion to have me.
Yep. Do we need to make a motion for that?
Yeah, it would help.
All right.
It's always good to have.
I'll entertain a motion to have David reapply for the grant for the state for the BB Road.
For 2 BB Road grants.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Class 2 and the culvert.
Okay. Yeah, a second on that?
I'll second.
Either one.
2 seconds.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Aye. Sorry about that.
Ed? Aye. James? Aye. Mark? Aye. Nicole?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
All right, thank you.
This should be everything in here.
Any other necessary business? Anything, David?
No.
Public comment? Anything else, comment?
Joel's raising his hand.
Joel's raising his hand.
Some of you may be reading it under the chat. I take real exception to people sending chats to everyone and then having those read to the public. That's like me in a meeting just bellowing out, I disagree with this, or, you know, the Russians are coming or whatever else for comments. I think at the beginning of your board meetings using Zoom, you should say that comments through chat could be to each other, like you might lean in a room over to somebody and whisper to them, but reading comments that are sent out to everyone, I think that's a real foul. That's just my thought. You wait and see what some comments you might get sometime.
Yeah.
And then you're not attributing them to the people who wrote them.
Thank you, Joel.
Understood, Joel.
Yeah, have a great night, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel.
The comments are coming from.
I just want to say, Joel, the reason the comments are read is because there are people that are dialing in on their telephone and they can't read the comments themselves. And people put the comments so that they can share their voice without having to take up extra time and taking a position to speak out loud. So,
Okay.
but I appreciate your comment, though. Thank you.
Okay, public comment. That's good. Anybody else? Upcoming events. Oh, somebody else got something?
Oh, I was just gonna echo what Joel said, James, just maybe you could tell people, because I understand what Heather's saying, that I think I've been on some calls where that's how people communicate through the chat. And then this seemed to be maybe a back and forth amongst callers. So maybe just clarify at the beginning, either if you want your comment heard or it may be public or your name may be read. But I think I agree with kind of both that maybe to Heather's point about people do sometimes communicate that way. So maybe just let it be known that that's how they need to communicate.
Okay, thanks. Anything else, public comment? Quickly? Okay.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you for all you do.
Upcoming events, Planning Commission, February meetings canceled. Monday, February 22nd is a budget informational meeting, 7 p.m. by Zoom only for the public. Us, it'll be here at the town complex. DRB, Development Review Board meeting Thursday, February 25th, 2011. 2011, sorry. 6 p.m. by Zoom only. March 2nd is voting day, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for Village Complex, 121st Street. You can also call here to the town office and get your absentee ballot mailed to you, 868-4421. And what else we got? Select Board organizational meeting is Wednesday, March 3rd, 7 p.m. by Zoom for the public. Executive session. I hear a motion to go into executive session for real estate and personnel.
I make the motion that we find that we enter an executive session for the select board to receive confidential contract real estate personnel information for which premature disclosure of it to the general public will clearly place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage.
I will second that motion.
Yeah. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Heather?
You won.
Somebody needs to be muted.
Aye.
James, aye. Mark, aye.
Aye.
Nicole, aye. Ayes have it. And I need someone to read the second part.
I move that based on our just made findings that premature disclosure would place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage. We enter an executive session.
I will second that.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Heather?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
James? Aye. Mark?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
So I make a motion to come out of executive session at 9:58 p.m.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Ed? Aye. James, aye. Mark? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're back in regular meeting. All in favor, motion to adjourn.
No action.
No action. I'll make a motion and we adjourn at 9:58 p.m.
I will second that.
All in favor, please voice say aye. Heather?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. James, aye. Mark, aye. Okay, ayes have it. Meeting, folks.
Thank you.
Everyone,